The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Is AU finally losing its relevance? Has that organization finally collapsed? Now, member states are now tired of the organization called African Union. For decades, African Union has been the voice of the continent. But this week, that voice met. It met out. Oh, the president of Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema, finally put AU at its place. He said what other heads of states were thinking, but were too scared to talk about. According to him, African Union is losing its relevance. Yes. Then what African Union is supposed to be doing, they are not doing. That he's tired of the talking. Every blessed day, whenever they meet, is about talking. He said this when they met for the Institutional Reform Summit. And he just made sure that he kept these people at one corner. Yes, he said he's so tired, enough of this speech, and that if they don't do something very fast, then they should forget about what they call African Union. That union has finally collapsed. And now look at what other nations are doing. Look at AES. They are not talking. We always come and sit here. And what we do is talk every blessed day. And nothing comes out of it. For how long must we continue to be doing the talking?
We're looking ahead to before I say that, this country, we're involved on the African continent in the reform of the African Union. Actually, after this meeting, I have a meeting, President Ruto and a few of our colleagues who are tasked to look at the reform of the African Union itself. We cannot be talking about reforms in our individual countries when the body that that brings together is not reforming. So I'm here to say that we are concerned about some of the things that we do on the continent, and we're working together to look at how we can reform the African Union. Obviously, that also means reforms in the regional bodies, SADC, East African Community, West African Community, North Africa. I think those are the building blocks. But for us as a nation, we're driving reforms. So we're also saying we need reforms in SADC, we need reforms at the AU level, so that we can have complementarity. We can have convergence of what we call common things that need to be done across the continent. So, Kenyan High Commissioner, we have a session this morning. President Ruto is chairing that session. So that includes the issues around touching on the global financial reform architecture, especially the issue around the cost of capital that Africa has to pay more than any other continent. We're not happy about that. It's not the right business thing to do. So we want Africa to be treated the same with regard to the cost of capital, the pricing of this commodity called capital. And there's no reason that the same business, same sector, elsewhere they pay less, we pay more in Africa. Then in the end we say Africa is inefficient. I don't agree with that. We don't agree with that. Because part of those costs are driven by the cost of capital. So these are the sort of issues that we're talking about. And we would like to expand this area, as I talked about trade and investment together. But if we are injecting a higher cost of doing business in Africa, which is really brought onto us through the structuring of the cost of capital, we need to address that. We want to see more volumes, more higher turnovers, and work more on volumes than margins. I think the margins, the spread is too much. So I'm just giving you a taste of some of the things that we're doing. As you know, that this president is Africa champion in Corella and on a number of things. So Zambia is extremely active. This country, since we took office, has come back into the League of Nations. We had withdrawn quite a lot, but the country is now back in the League of Decent Nations. So I thought I should use this opportunity to indicate that. We are pushing very hard Africa Free Trade Area. And let me remind you seated in here, Africa talking about doing business with itself does not mean we are going to exclude yourselves. We just want to work more with each other, naturally. And then we'll be a better team to work with yourselves, right? We will attract bigger capital tickets when Africa is working with itself first. So I see some of you may think that this is an attempt to extricate Africa from the rest of you. Not at all. Africa will be better when it's more organized within itself. We're the continent that does the least trade with itself. That's a crime. And the leaders of this continent now recognize that. And I think it's important that we address it. In my view, it will overall improve even the risk profiling of this continent when we do things correctly in that way. So I think if I move quickly to the Great Lakes region, we're very supportive of the peace efforts in there. First ourselves, first time, 2025, first time, two regional bodies came together to form a joint team to work on the Eastern DRC conflict. East African Community and SADC, we created a joint team, and we will continue doing that. But we also appreciate the work of others, Qatar, US, seeking peace for Eastern DRC and other trouble spots. We know what's going on in Sudan there, not good at all. And we will continue seeking the support of first ourselves, countries, but also yourselves in the overall architecture of peace and stability in the world, which is good for development. SADC, I already mentioned, peace efforts, sister country, Mozambique, peace efforts in Eastern DRC. And Zambia has remained very active, first chairing the Troika in the SADC. We chaired the Troika in SADC. And in August, our colleagues, presidents have elected this president that will take over the chair of SADC, August 2026. We'll be taking over the chairmanship of SADC from President Ramaphosa, following the unfortunate issues in Madagascar, which accelerated the processes, because I should have come in, according to my colleagues, in 2027, but now President Ramaphosa had to come in earlier, and then myself taking over from him much earlier. Just to keep you informed, for the SADC colleagues that are seated in this room, and we look forward to working together to maintain peace, security, stability in our region, but more so to invest with each other and in each other's economies. And we will be pushing that agenda. You can be sure of that. We'll be pushing that joint investment agenda as we assume that responsibility. COMESA, obviously, we continue being active. We are the host in terms of secretariat. We work to consolidate COMESA. You cannot have an Africa Free Trade Area if COMESA is not consolidating, if SADC, if East African Community, ECOWAS, North African communities, and because these are the building blocks. So we cannot do that. So we're working on this sort of frame, getting to the Africa Free Trade Area. So we want to continue our efforts to get on the new headquarters of COMESA, and your support will be appreciated. European Union, thank you very much for your support. We're very happy that we are now getting into the project stage, transaction stage. As you know, one of my first stops following my ascension to the president was to make a presentation at the European Union Parliament, and we talked things there. Now those things are maturing, such as what? Thank you for your support with the Zambia Railways rehabilitation. Thank you for your support in the Lobito corridor, very important to us, and obviously tying to the Tazara rehabilitation. Thank you for the colleagues in China for their support on Tazara. So Europe, France, Italy. Italian ambassador, is he here? Thank you for what the Prime Minister is doing there, and her focus on the Mattei plan and the support for the Lobito corridor. We're very grateful for that. And obviously the US support on the Lobito corridor as well. We would like to see more traction in 2026. We've been talking a lot. We now need to get on the ground to do transactions and projects for the Lobito corridor, Tazara, of course, then the Zambia Railways. So given our land-linked nature, we're very pleased that for the first time in the history of this country, we have 3 railway systems being worked on. It's tremendous for us. Lobito corridor, Angolan colleague, you're here. Bondi. And we're very happy with that. Then the Tazara, very happy. Nihao, very happy. Then obviously the Zambia Railways. Thank you, EU. We really appreciate it. But you'll be happy to know that now the Lobito corridor interest has extended beyond Angola. Congo DR, where's the Congo ambassador? Is he here? Thank you. And Zambia is 3 primary countries, but now we're drawing in Tanzania. There's a Tanzanian ambassador, High Commissioner. Tanzania, Mozambique is coming through because of the Nacala corridor, all of that stuff. It's very, very exciting times. I stand here and say to the people of Zambia, this is one of the most exciting times that this country has found itself in for years and years because of the things that we are doing, and if we do them properly, what they mean to our economies, not just Zambia, but DRC, Angola, Mozambique, Tanzania, and Malawi, as it were, and Botswana, Namibia. We're doing quite a couple of things with Botswana, Namibia around there. I think Botswana colleague is there. Namibian High Commissioner, where is? There you are, Botswana. Where is he? He's not here. All right. Oh, Tumerama. So we're very happy with that kind of stuff. So let's continue working together in those areas. Just a little bit touch again, the global gateway for the EU, very, very important to us around there. There's a broader, higher level, and obviously Lobito is a subset of the gateway, the global gateway. So we're excited about those opportunities, and we want to push them harder beyond 2025, what we did in 2025. And so as I look at you, I'm looking at all the EU ambassadors collectively together. Please, I'm not ignoring the good bilateral discussions we've been having inside the EU, yes, with the EU, but also, yes, with the individual countries, the things that we're doing together. We appreciate all of us. Yeah. Chairman Ambassador, we were just chatting a few days ago. Once more, welcome, German, Namibia, Ghana. Where is my sister from Ghana? Yeah, thank you. Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you. Great. Multilateral engagements. We're seeking the support of all of you on the UN Security Council. Africa has to sit on that EU Security Council. We cannot be talking about the same thing over and over. Please pass messages to your capitals that the world has changed. The composition of the countries of the world has changed from 1945 and beyond to now. Most of our countries were not independent then, and so we were excluded. We are now here. Africa has to sit at the table where security issues are discussed. You really can't be talking about Africa without us. How do you hear our circumstances and considerations, issues? How do you decide for us on your own? That should be taken seriously. The Ezulwin consensus must be taken seriously, colleagues. So please pass, I know you do your diplomatic notes every now and then. Just a humble, we're not fractious about it. We are making a core that is genuine. And we can't continue making the same codeine for years and years. And there's no response. What does that mean? It means others have shut their ears to genuine concerns. So can we address those even amongst yourselves when you sit as ambassadors? Yeah, thank you very much. The issue of overall UN reforms, very committed to that, as you know. Zambia sits as part of the Council of Reforms under the AU C10 reforms. There's a group we have in Africa on the AU of C10, which interacts with the UN on the broader UN reforms. And Zambia sits on that C10 committee. And we continue to engage with yourselves. We're committed to the SDGs, no question about it. If you see the Zambia reforms and the program of reforms, the IMF, you will see a lot of the SDGs in there. It's very important that we recommitted to the SDGs. Climate action, very important to us. Very, very important, and we continue being committed on that. Development financing, I've already touched on that. Lastly, I want to say that I know there's anxiety, but I want to assure you that in 2026, there will be credible, peaceful, and transparent elections. There will be credible, peaceful, and transparent elections. I'm sure you're following what's happening in by-elections. Who wins does not matter. But the process allows the opposition to win, allows the ruling party to win. There's an election in Kasama today. Whoever wins democracy wins. And we had elections in Chawama. Most of you are not aware, may not be aware, that Chawama was a source of panga politics in this country. The pangas in politics were born in a constituency called Chawama in Lusaka. And there were elections there. There was no bloodshed. This is our commitment to peace, security, stability, first of our own country, so we don't export trouble to other countries. I think it works like that, isn't it? Peace in our own countries, stability in our own countries. Whether it's an election or not, we must ensure we do that. So we want to assure you that you shouldn't worry too much about 2026 elections. You should worry about supporting us to make sure that the facets of the elections do take place correctly. We reformed our constitution. That's our mandate. Very important mandate to bring women, 20 women who come into parliament after 2026 elections, 13th of August. With or without winning elections, there will be 20 women in that parliament. First time in the history of our country. That's affirmative action. There will be 15 youth there. There will be 5 differently abled in there, winning or not winning elections. These are tremendous changes, we do believe. So even with that, the elections, madam, will be free, fair, peaceful, transparent. Thank you. I must close by saying that Zambia is ready for deeper partnerships and investment partnerships with yourselves. Open your markets also. Our market is open. Open your markets. When we are in Beijing, we are not against Washington. Please, we don't want to be drawn into your geopolitics. We're too small. We're too small. We're too busy trying to take care of school children, to sit on desks. They were sitting on the floor. Don't drag us into those issues. Just keep our world peaceful. You're the big guys who should assure global peace, security, and stability. And we can all benefit from that. But if you drag us into there, you create unnecessary pressures on us. So, I'm in Beijing. I'm not against Washington. We're not against London. We're not against Brussels. We're not against Berlin. We're not against Rome. No. We want to do business with Stockholm without worrying that Beijing will complain. We do genuine business with Stockholm, genuine business with, any of your countries. We have a single-mindedness here to grow our economy, create jobs for our people, business opportunities for them, increase treasury income. As you can see, January inflation is now down to 9.4%. These are the issues that matter to us. Lowering the cost of doing business so we can do more business with yourselves. I wanted to make this point once more, early into the 2026. We understand the issues between yourselves, but make our world safer. I want to confirm that Zambia signs up to a rules-based international order so that even small countries are protected. Zambia signs up to a rules-based global order. So we can predict what will happen if there's an issue. The uncertainty that surrounds us today is a concern to us. Please pass that message to your capitals. We can do better as a global community.
This is the time for action. He attacked AU because he referred AU to the security side. According to him, where is AU where the is everywhere? Where is AU? The AU is always active when they don't need AU to be active. Where there is the AU need to come together and find a lasting solution so that people will have peace in their homes. AU is rather chasing after the size of a map. Then what kind of organization is this? That can't they do something very meaningful for themselves? Other African heads of states just bury their heads in shame. Nobody expected this. This man is the calm type. He doesn't talk. He's not that, We've seen the way he is. He's not that kind of the type who talks. So nobody expected that this man is boiling inside. So like, when we look at what is happening now, African leaders themselves are so tired. They are so sick and tired of what is happening. And they need to break away from it. And it's like, now, they are bringing out their frustration. See, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are the ones doing these wonders. Because looking at what these people are doing, they know that African Union, that organization, is sitting on a time bomb. Because a time will come, AES, after moving out of ECOWAS, the next thing is for them to form AU. Because now, as it stands, they don't know whether they belong to AU or not. Because according to our all-in-all Captain Ibrahim Traore, now when they even have their meetings, they don't even invite them. When they even say they are coming for them to do AB, they will not come. No show. So finally, when AES decides to form their own African Union, this one will collapse. So they are warning these people. The Zambian president is warning these people. And you can see that now the leaders, some of them are sick and tired of what they have become, of the talking. ABCD every blessed day. Every blessed day the same old story. Yet we need African Union to solve the problems of Africans, and this organization is not just there to do it. Where we are expecting African Union to fight for us, that is where African Union is quiet. And this organization will only be singing the songs of. So, what is the essence of this organization? When things are happening like the man rightfully said, the security aspect of Africa, where is African Union? That we are having all these things happening in Sudan, happening in Congo, happening in the Sahel. Then the only thing African Union chairperson can come out to tell the world is there's insurgencies in Mali, there's crisis. So for that matter, we need So if there is no international whatever, does it mean Africans, we can do anything for ourselves? These people don't call on us to come and do anything. So why must we always depend on these people before we can do anything for ourselves? And it's good, though. It is very good that their own people, you know, the people that make up that organization, it's good that they themselves are not tired and they are bringing out the truth. It's like, looking at what is happening in AES, the leaders are saying that, see, we can no longer cover things up because the youth are exposing us. And it is better we join AES because we can beat them. We thought we can use our tactics too. But the more we do, the more they are rising. They are telling us what we need to be doing. So it is better we put our heads together and be Africans rather than wearing suit to be pleasing other people. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world. In Africa, in Zambia.